So in today's video, I'm going to go through how I would trade Forex from the beginning if I had the chance to start over. So I'd say the first step really is to understand some realistic goals that you have. There's a typical stigma involved with Forex trading in the industry that, it's a get rich quick scheme. That's how a lot of people fall into the trap of being scammed and losing money and ultimately losing belief in the potential of investment through this industry. Obviously getting rich quick is not possible in the way it's sold really. I think you've got to give yourself a lot of time and put in a lot of effort to actually be able to make a lot of money through this industry. I've been trading for nearly 5 years now and I'm only really starting to reap the larger rewards. So that's an indication to the true reality of the Forex industry. Just because it isn't a get rich quick scheme though doesn't mean that it's a very effective form of investment. In fact, you would end up making more money than you would just lumping money into a bank account, especially in the UK at the moment, or investing money into a stocks and shares ISO. So no, it isn't a get rich quick scheme, but it definitely gets you richer quicker than any other sort of investment method, and it's a good stream of income to have alongside a full-time job at the start, and then eventually it has the potential to become a full-time career if you wanted to. So I've put together a little flow chart just for the sake of the beginning outline of being able to understand and create your realistic goals and work out how long it may take you to get up and running in this sort of industry. So this example is based off of someone who's a full-time employee working 10 hours a day at work, so about 40 to 50 hours a week. I've also done a slightly tweaked one for a student and I will save that as a template, and if you comment down below I can send you the template. I mean, it only didn't take me too long to make, but just thought it might be a bit of a useful insight. So obviously the first step is to learn the foundations of Forex. So this is based off obviously finding a course that teaches the foundations. So you need to work out how many minutes that you can spare per day to learn. I've put two options of either 60 minutes or 30 minutes. So ideally when you've found the course, to understand the foundations and the theory of a trading course, if you have 60 minutes spare a day, you should watch and re-watch the course content and take notes for around 10 days at an hour every single day. And if you only have half an hour a day spare, then obviously that changes to 20 days because you've only got half the time spare. And that should be enough time to take notes on everything. Obviously it won't all be embedded in your head, but that sort of comes later when you start applying things to the chart. So at this point, have you completed the content? If not, then watch and rewatch the course content and take notes until complete. 30 minutes every day minimum, and then move on to step 2. So step 2 is accessible when you've completed the course content, and this is where you begin to backtest your strategy. So I've finished this at step 2 at the moment. I might add to this, I might not, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to touch upon now the importance of backtesting a strategy and developing a trade plan. Okay, so just before we touch on the backtesting and developing a trade plan, it's important to understand that when developing your goals and understanding how much time you have, it's important that you also know that when you find a course and it's worked for other people, you should definitely stick to it and not switch up. There's a huge issue that people have, and obviously this has an effect on consistency. And basically what happens is people don't understand the true amount of backtesting and data collecting required in order to create a bit more of a bulletproof trade plan. Obviously it can't be 100% bulletproof because no one has something like that. Losses are part of the game. But people think they've figured out a trade plan, apply it to the real markets, taking executions on positions in line with this trade plan that they've developed, and it doesn't work. They've gone on a 3-loss streak or something like that, and they start to lose belief and feel that it's not the course for them, or that it's just complete rubbish and it doesn't actually work, even though there are people taking the same course as you in the course community that are successful traders that are funded, they consistently make profit. So at this point you've got to sort of be able to take the responsibility and tell yourself that actually you need to delve deeper into the data collection that you've done and try and figure out where you're going wrong. Personally, I have a free Telegram channel at the moment, which I will leave a link in the description. Basically it just allows you to keep up with my trading results at the end of every month, and I also share insights into the analysis that I share with people in other channels, and ultimately it can help help you decide whether Forex trading is something you want to pursue and learn and develop your knowledge on. And it's just a good starting point really to be able to see that, there's losses as well as winners. So as I say, I'll leave the link in the description, feel free to join. Okay, so now we will move on to the backtesting of the strategy. So as I mentioned before, it's one thing learning the theory of a course or a strategy, and it's another thing actually being able to apply this theory into the live markets. I personally have a spreadsheet that I use that allows me to capture all necessary data from the market so that each time I execute a position, I know exactly what trade model I'm looking for and the exact entry point I'm going to be entering from, how large my stop loss is going to be, and where I'm targeting to take some profit from the markets. And these are just a few of the key factors needed in a trade plan in order to not only build consistency but also become confident in the trader that you have become. And when you take a loss, you know that it's part of your plan. You've experienced them through your back testing, but ultimately you know that your trade plan does work and the winners outweigh the losses, and that's what can help your psychology through this sort of tough time, if you like. So how much data should you collect to develop such a trade plan? And I would usually suggest that you should backtest around 4 to 6 months worth of data. And really at this point, you've got a good amount of data, but also you should have a better understanding of what you're looking for in the markets for executing a position. If you're still a bit unsure, then obviously you can spend more time gathering data. If you purchase a premium TradingView subscription and your execution time frame is say the 50-minute time frame, then you can usually backtest about 4 to 6 months anyway, without having to wait for the live market executions. So you can go back in time basically to gather data, which allows you to progress further quicker. Once you've done this 4 to 6 months of data collection, I would then recommend going onto a demo account for the next month, so you get used to executing these live positions in the markets and seeing how it ultimately compares for your trade plan when executing on the markets as you see the candles move. And you want to ask yourself a couple of questions at the end to make sure that you've done enough demo testing or even back testing. But one of these questions would be, has the trade plan worked as well as you'd hoped? Every time you executed a trade, did you stick to the plan? And when reading the markets live and looking for an execution, can you read them as well live as you can when backtesting through all data? Because backtesting can sometimes be a bit difficult. You can kid yourself a bit if you are looking for a trade, not quite sure whether to execute it when backtesting, and then it goes on to be a winner, and you say to yourself, oh well, actually in the live markets I probably would have taken that, so I'll note that down as a win. Obviously that's not taking responsibility for yourself, and there's just no point in doing that. And the reason you need to take the time to demo test before jumping right in the live markets is for that exact reason. So once you've successfully completed a demo test for a month or maybe 2 months, you want it as long as you feel comfortable to progress to the next level, you should consider opening a live account just with a small amount of capital, money that you can afford to invest, and trial this for a further month or 2. This will be a good learning curve again, because you're testing your strategy on the live markets, but also bearing in mind you've got money on the table. This can test your psychology a bit more, which is a good thing if you want to become a successful trader, because you need to get used to taking losses and also taking nice wins when real money is at stake, especially if it's your own capital. And this will make you question a few things, which will hopefully tell you what the next step is. And these would be something along the lines of, can I trust this trade plan that I've built to make me money in the long run? Do I need to further test and refine my strategy after this month live on the markets? And did it go in line with the data I tested? And of course, did you stick to the trade plan? And then obviously once this is done and you've built up these sort of 9 months of work, you just need to snowball on this. So, you've got your live account, you've got your strong trade plan, and now you can just take time, another couple of months live, maybe feeding on a little bit more capital, test your psychology a little further. And if it's still going well after 3 months and, overall you're in quite decent profit, then you can consider looking into becoming a funded trader. Obviously it's taken me, as I say, nearly 5 years to get to this point. There was a lot of hiccups on the way. There was no sort of guidance for myself from the beginning. I just sort of saw this, admittedly probably for a bit of a get rich quick scheme, and obviously that wasn't the case, but I didn't give up once learning that. I learned the hard way, and it's important that there's material like this out there to showcase that it can be done in a smaller time frame, as long as you don't fall for the idea of getting rich quick. This pretty much wraps up this video. If you found it useful and informative, this really is how I would relearn Forex if I could. I'd get involved in education right from the start, what courses people have taken or what they're currently taking, do they recommend it, and of course give yourself the time and remain patient, but also consistent. Build day by day on your knowledge, and in time it will come to a position where you can look for a funded account, snowball your personal live account, and the money will then come as a byproduct of this consistency and dedication to gaining knowledge. Thanks for watching, and please leave a like, subscribe, and comment any questions you may have or anything you want to see in the future. And again, feel free to join my Telegram channel. I'll leave a link in the description. And to be able to see the profit potential of the Forex industry through myself and my actual trading results might just inspire you to begin the journey you have wanted to begin for quite some time in the Forex industry. See you in the next video.